Do you have a baby?
No, I just have a bunch of teenage boys
Okay,
laughing
welcome
and
to the weekly collaborative. It was a great uh, thing to take a break through the Thanksgiving holiday. What it did for me and for us really is it gave us the opportunity to kind of step back from the trees, so to speak, that we're working on a daily basis, and take once again a look at the forest, which we're always trying to pay attention to the big why, our big purpose in why we're here. And uh, it always links back to me, and I try to keep this top of mind all the time, that we're here to fuel and drive a revolution in healthcare. We're here to raise the tide for practitioners, for practices, and ultimately for patients. And that's the thing that grabs us. That's the thing that gets us out of bed all the time. We sometimes can lose sight of that when we get down into the weeds. Right before you know, coming into the session, we were just having a dialogue about things people are doing to generate a following or generate awareness or create an audience and create a community and keep them engaged. And that's exactly the challenges we're looking to address with this community. And because we're, people, there's a guy named Simon Sinek. I don't know if you've followed him, but Simon Sinek is very famous for the why. And
Yes, I
he's
have it. I have to tell you, pinned to my monitor, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Bingo, bingo, exactly. And the why we do this is ultimately what I said. We've got an enormous challenge to drive a transformational change in healthcare, and we're doing that on multiple levels. At the grassroots level, with folks like you who are patient facing, to arm you with a support system to enable you to have better careers, more efficient and effective practices, and ultimately better efficacy for patients because you're able to reach more people. So that's the thing that's the forest, right? So that stepping back and taking a break through the Thanksgiving holiday enabled us to kind of do that. So then we can zero back down, and we know in every piece of what we're doing the big why. So Holly, you were talking about building, and Joe, you were talking about building followings for the really important messages that you have to deliver to patients about managing their own health. And and that's really important. Holly, I'm delighted you have Simon's message up above there, because that's exactly right. They're you can talk to them all day about what you do, but if you anchor that in the why you're doing it, and the why resonates with them, then the following will come, right? Um, and so our bet with this experiment that we're doing with the Practice Experts Collaborative is ultimately those are really important things. People in healthcare want to improve their careers, because we're all in it for not only the reason of helping patients and helping improve the efficacy of healthcare. We're also obviously in it to make money at some point. So whether it's at the individual career level or the practice level, these profitability models that deliver a big why back to the patients is really important to keep that connection, as Simon Sinek says. So so that's what we're getting re-anchored in. So Joe, and answer your question about what we're working on we've done I think a pretty decent job of building an initial following, getting a lot of resources built out in the collaborative, and now it's about building on that community and getting out to more and more people, because we've got a little over 100 members now. Ultimately, that needs to be in the thousands, in order for it to deliver the kind of value for you and the other people that are in the collaborative. Um, so that's really the focus of our effort is not only building the community, but engaging the community. So, we're happy to share with you the things that we're doing and the models that we're using that are proven models to do that at the collaborative overall. So you can take those same kind of lessons back down into your own individual practices. Because I would love nothing better than for Holly to you have 36 people sign up for your workshop. Dr. Dunn is a great example. As you may remember that the launch of her latest training course in holistic methylation timed out perfectly with when we were launching the collaborative. And coming up to that, I asked her, so how many people in her workshops, I think $1,900. And that's for phase 1 of a 3-phase training program. And I asked her, how many people how many people are shooting for? What would you like to have? And she said, I would love it if we had 20. Well, she had 43 and people in her workshop, eventually. And, she's done a lot of work to build up her own marketing platform. I would like to think that we helped provide some of that wind, behind her sales to get to some of those numbers. And, I just talked with her 2 days ago, and she's really, really interested in putting a lot more juice into the collaborative. She's got a holistic methylation Facebook group of, last time I looked at it, 447 members in there. She would like to move that entire group into the collaborative because it offers a much better environment for her. And if you think about that, we take the 100 members that we've got today, let's say 10 of them want to do something like that. It wouldn't take long for us to get into the thousands of members into the collaborative. And then that gives you a much, bigger audience to not only share your message, but also to learn from. And that's what this whole, community thing is all about. So it's really helpful for me to hear what you're doing, what kind of things you're challenged with, what's working for you, what's not working for you, so that together we can figure this out together. Because you're building a micro community, we're building more of a macro community across these professions and disciplines of healthcare across the country. But our goals are the same, right? You want to help a group of patients. We want to help a group of practitioners and practices. And that together creates this wave of, the big why, the cause that we're all in, and people connect with causes.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. So our video, I don't know if you knew, Holly, our video reached 1,000 views on Facebook. Our
Awesome.
last Q&A. So
That's
we were
fantastic.
pretty happy about that. And we're working on getting those people actually converted and onto our list. I mean, it's one thing. We set up a Facebook page for it instead of just to Zoom because it was just easier while I figured out the back end web stuff. And then we have, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. So we have the Facebook page and we're sharing it there, but now we have to figure out how to convert the Facebook viewers to actually sign up on the email list and things like that. So those are some of the challenges that we're working through right now.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. We're getting there. One of the questions I had for you was, have you figured out topics going into 2021, or is that a blank slate still?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
We have a draft of topics all the way through 2021, but that's just to put a stake in the ground or in the sand to have a plan in place. But obviously we're staying nimble every month as it comes along because
I would love to. We're going to be in 2021 inviting one session a month, inviting a special guest on, and I would love to have that guest align with what you have going on so that when we promote it, it can be because we just answer random health questions. And most weeks it's a hodgepodge of questions from all different areas, but one session a month, we're looking at having that special guest and talking specifically about, maybe we'll have Jay Dunn on, have questions about methylation and around genetics and testing and all the questions people have about that. And every question that Thursday would be all around methylation, but I'd love to have it up with what your topics might be.
So,
'Cause that would be great.
what I'm hearing, it would be helpful for you for us to publish out what our thoughts are for our monthly themes. Through
Yeah, or at least
2021.
share, I mean, like, or even if you just want to share it with, like what, I know they might not be set in stone yet. They might just be penciled in. But as I'm talking to people, I can plan ahead and go, oh yeah, I have a cardiologist coming on, and I have a functional cardiologist, and look, April's Heart Health Month, so I'm going to book that cardiologist in April, so when we promote it on the collaborative, it aligns. We're in alignment.
Perfect. I love it.
Versus us coming out in March with the cardiologist and you going, hey, next month is Heart Health Month. It doesn't vibe. We're not on the same page. So if we're going to collaborate, it makes sense that what we're doing, if I'm going to be plugging in experts, it would make sense that I take my list of experts and align them with what your topics would be.
That's
I'm
right.
going to be promoting it on the collaborative.
Great idea.
Yeah, that is a great idea. So I'll share that out there with the resource members. So I'll probably put it I might put it in the resource managers workshop area.
Okay.
That would be, well, I'll figure out the right way.
Something.
But yeah, it's kind of like an editorial calendar, right?
Right.
For a publication.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but like if we can stay in communication about what those topics are a little bit in advance, because we'll put the guests on towards the end of the month, and then that'll give me, if something changes, it gives me a little bit of leeway to, work things around.
Yeah, absolutely, that works for me.
And I'm getting connections through Unblinded all the time. I'm getting speaking engagements and platforms to speak on, and getting linked up with people. I just talked to 2 people in the autism space this week that are looking to expand. I had one person that actually wants to build out a functional medicine platform for underprivileged people. How do we get the underprivileged of society to be able to access this kind of care? Because right now it's pay for service. And what if they can't pay?
Right.
How do we provide them this service? Like, how can we together, through all the connections that we've made, put together enough people that would be willing to serve this community?
I have another call at 12:30. Have a great day, guys.
See you at
Enjoy
3:30, Holly.
Holly, love hearing what you're doing. We're here to support you in any way. So I know you got to jump off on your call, but this has been great.
Thank you. Great to see you, Richard.
Great to see you
soon,
as
Joe.
always. Joe, those are fantastic ideas. I mean, we're working on multiple fronts. I think I have to split my mind sometimes on a daily basis because Robin and I are continuing to build Mind Body Talent out and its business model, and we have the exact same mission for Mind Body Talent that we do with this collaborative. But to your point about making functional integrative medicine available to the masses, there are multiple things that we're doing. One is we formed a strategic alliance with Novus Health last March after months of talking with them. Novus is the first functional medicine franchise in the country, and they have an aggressive business plan to put functional medicine franchises all over the country. One of the benefits of that is that they've packaged up practice management to the extent that it becomes a lot more efficient and therefore a lot more affordable. So one of their parts of their mission is to bring functional medicine available to the masses, so to speak, because as you well know, a lot of it is up in the top 1% of the population because they can afford self-pay, right?
Right.
But if we can make this more and more efficient, and then it becomes available to a lot more people. And we're also working on a front of different payment models.
Right.
There's concierge medicine, there's self-pay, there's membership, there's and so the really cool thing for me is that people are getting more and more creative with those things and figuring out, when can I use insurance and when can't I?
Yeah, I think this person was literally talking about making, free functional medicine clinics, like where you could walk in and get functional, and even if it was virtual, like if we had enough clinicians, enough practitioners, enough people that were willing to do pro bono work and donate X hours of their time and have this available for people. And how could she structure that, through the networks that we have and make that available?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, you have to drive down the cost in every aspect of it because,
Right.
in the diagnosis process, there's got to be lab testing. Well, lab testing is expensive. And so we have the professional co-op, Bill Beakey's company, in the collaborative, and they're
Right.
driving down the costs of lab testing. And if different people take different pieces of that all throughout the system, the life cycle of diagnosis, testing, treatment plans, supplements, and driving down those costs all the way along the way. And if they have an aspect of their business model where they're going to do some pro bono work for the underprivileged community, now you got a model that works across everybody.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's very
So
cool.
it's just exciting to see, like, you talk to someone who's totally unrelated, they're not a cog in the wheel of functional medicine at all, but you share your why and they're like, I love it. How can we do this? I'm thinking we can do it this way, So, I mean, that's where I think the real power comes when you start pulling in people across different ecosystems, right? When you're not just pulling practitioners who are already like running on empty trying to make their practices work, right? Now you pull somebody else that has, they're past that point. They've made their money, they've done whatever, and now their passion is to, they're looking for a cause, right? To put their time and energy and money behind. So those are the people I think we really need to find those people that are passionate, that get behind the why, that can help drive this, because I talk to a lot of practitioners and, depending on where they are, they're trying to make their practices work, right? And you're here supporting us. And we all want to see this elevated. We all are in the same boat though. We're all, we're paddling and there's only so much energy left.
Exactly.
We give you little spurts at the end of the day, right? I mean, I feel like you're feeling that,
Oh, definitely.
these people are great, but they only have 10 minutes to hop on the collaborative and see what's going on, and if there's nothing going on, you're gonna lose them.
Right. Exactly.
So
Well, that's the challenge, is to keep enough things out there and make it a valuable enough platform that it is worth their time.
Right.
Because that's all any of us have. I mean, most of us are in service-oriented businesses, right? Some are selling products, but largely it's service-oriented businesses. So how do we make money doing the things that we do, delivering great healthcare?
Right. Exactly. So,
Right.
all right.
So
I am
cool.
neglecting my family that's here at the house.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on again
I have a
and
little bit.
sharing your
Well,
thoughts.
yeah, it's been a few weeks because I
always
had
valuable.
that course.
Yeah. All right. Talk soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.